people. I'm glad you could join me on Deranged Hermit Life. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you might remember us buying this card. This is the Hermit with just a little bit of a scratch up on the top left hand side. Now it's just in the case, the card's fine, but it still shits me having it there. So I thought to myself, why don't I try buffing it out? And because I've never done anything like this before, I thought it's best not to use this card, but I'll use one of my cheaper slabs, put some scratches in it, and then see if I can use a few different methods and see if I can get the scratches out. So I might as well jump straight into it. It's going to take a little while. I'll edit it so it's a lot quicker, but yeah, we'll get straight into it and we'll have a chat on the other side. So the cheapest slab that I own is this Alpha card. I know it's an Alpha, but it's the cheapest Alpha there is, and it's also only graded to a 5. So I'm not too worried about this, and I'd be happy to even crack it out of this case. Now it just needs some scratches. So you can kind of hear how deep those scratches went in. The one on the left is very deep. I put a lot of force into it. And the one on the right is very shallow. I don't know if we're going to be able to get these out, but we're sure going to give it a go. So doing some research on this subject, and I found online that some people say you can use baking soda to make like a little putty or whatever, and then just rub that over the surface and it'll take out minor scratches. So I wanted to try this first before using any sandpaper or anything like that, and just to see how it goes, see if it does anything, see if it clouds the surface, see if it's any use at all, basically. So let's just see what happens. I've just added straight water to the baking soda, made it like a decent consistency, and I'm just using a microfiber cloth here just to try and rub it in. I'll start real gentle and then just see what happens, and probably build up some force as we go further into it. Yeah, got to speed this process up or this video will just go too long. But yeah, I'm just doing circular motion, just like wax on, wax off. Not rubbing too hard, just rubbing nice and gently. Doesn't seem to be doing too much though. So just rubbing a little bit harder, just to see if I can get to take even those light scratches out. Let's see how it looks. Alright, so that looks like it didn't take any of the scratches out. I can see that it has been trying to polish the plastic a little bit. You can see the cloudy look. So it has been taking off a very thin layer, but not even enough to take those light scratches out. So yeah, this isn't going to work. Baking soda's kind of ruled out now. We'll have to move on to slightly more drastic measures. So now I've got the sandpaper. I'm going to start with 800 grit sandpaper, and I've just soaked it in water for about a minute. But yeah, this is very fine sandpaper. The higher the grit goes with sandpaper, then the finer it is. So 800's already pretty fine, and then we'll do a 1200. And I know you can even get up to 2000 and maybe even more than that, but that's the finest that I've seen is 2000. But yeah, let's just see how the 800 goes to start with. You just keep using water or else the sandpaper will clog up and just won't be as effective. So if you just keep wiping it down and keep the sandpaper moist, it should go just fine. Let's see how it's gone so far. Oh, it's got a few of the scratches out. It's looking good. Oh, well, let's keep at it. Wow, yeah, that's pretty good. I think there's only 2 scratches left that I can see. I'm pretty happy with that. If we can get the cloudiness out now, then we're going to be laughing. I'll just give it another whack with the 800. Just go a little bit deeper. So that looks really good. It obviously hasn't taken that first scratch out, but that was a very deep scratch. I'm pretty impressed it's taken all the other ones out. And I'll move on to a finer sandpaper now, the 1200. And see if we can take this cloudiness out. You can see my fingernail even gets caught in that crack. Like, that's how deep it is. Alright, here's the 1200s. I'll just be doing this really lightly because I don't want to be making more scratches and making it more cloudy than it has to be. This is more to take the cloudiness out now. The scratches are gone, so it's the cloudiness that we're working on now. And the cloudiness is actually heaps of micro scratches. So if we can smooth all them out, then the plastic will look like new again. Yeah, so there's lots of cloudiness to go. But we'll keep working on it. We'll get there. It's looking good. This is more 1200 grit. Give it another blast. Yeah, it looks better and better each time. Oh, well, that looks good enough for now. We'll move on to some polishing compound, I think. So I'm going to be using this polishing compound by hand, but that's definitely not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have something that spins really fast, like maybe a Dremel or something like that, and you should use like a woolen bit or a calico bit that'll hold this compound properly. But I'm not doing any of that. I'm just going to keep using this microfiber rag that I have been using, and I'll try just smearing it on and seeing if it works even just a little bit. But yeah, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm sure. This is just testing it out, see how it goes. And since I don't have a Dremel, then this is all I can do, I guess. Maybe in the future I will get a Dremel. this polishing compound is really crumbly. It's like nearly like really small pieces of glass or something. But yeah, I think you're supposed to heat it up just looking at how it looks. And I think if you had something that spun really fast and you just kind of dipped it into it, it would kind of melt it a little bit or something like that. But yeah, I don't have one of them, so I'm just trying this out. It actually still seems to be working. It's obviously probably going to take way longer doing it this way. But you can see the plastic there is clearing up pretty nicely. I'm just doing this nice and slow, but yeah, I'm impressed already. I'm not pushing too hard, but yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far. Let's see how that looks. Oh, yeah, it's way better. You can see most of the cloudiness is gone. It's still there, especially around the edges where I didn't get to properly. But it's coming out. Like, if I just kept doing this, it would end up looking primo. I'll just go a little bit further with it. See how much better I can make it look. But I'm not worried about this. Like, obviously I'm not aiming to get rid of that big scratch. And this is just testing things out, so let's see how that looks. I'm pretty happy with the result. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's good enough for now. I'll wash it off with some warm soapy water. That'll just get any of the last compound out. And just clean the case back up. But yeah, that's pretty successful. You can see in the reflection there's just that one scratch left. Maybe you can see the second one really faint, but not really. It's just that first one. As I said, that was a very deep one. Hey, Pidgey. Oh, you got your ball. Hey, Benji. Oh, you're funny, aren't you? Oh, you're so funny. So it's raining outside, so the dogs are inside. So sorry if that's distracting or annoying. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the results of buffing out that card. We got most of the scratches out, and the surface isn't too bad. It's still slightly cloudy, but after doing that process, I think I could get all those scratches out, even the deep one. And if I had a Dremel or something like that, I'd just put a woolen disc on the Dremel, and I reckon they'd buff out to perfect. You wouldn't notice there were ever any scratches on it. So that's as far as I'm going to go with this one by hand. But in the future, and maybe for this card, I might get a slightly coarser grit sandpaper to start with. As you know, we used 800 and 1200 on that card. But I might start with like a 400 or something around there, and just do it really lightly with that to get the main scratch out. And then go the 800, 1200, and I'd even try and find a 2000 grit. I couldn't find one today, but I know they make them just at my local hardware store. They didn't have them, so I'd do all the sandpapers, then get the Dremel and use that on the polishing compound. Anyway, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining me, Until next week, stay cool, stay calm, stay connected.